The fall of Edessa in 1144 sent shockwaves through the Christian world and became the primary catalyst for the Second Crusade. This event, a significant setback for the Crusader states in the Levant, highlighted the vulnerability of the Latin East and spurred a renewed wave of religious fervor in Europe. Edessa, a crucial outpost. Edessa, located in Upper Mesopotamia, modern-day southeastern Turkey, held a unique position among the Crusader states. It was the first of these states to be established, founded in 1098 by Baldwin of Boulogne during the First Crusade. Unlike the other Crusader states situated along the Mediterranean coast, Edessa was an inland territory, making it more vulnerable to attacks from the surrounding Muslim powers. The county of Edessa was also unique in its demographics. It had a large Armenian population, and the relationship between the Frankish rulers and their Armenian subjects was often complex and fraught with tension. This internal instability further weakened the county's defenses. The siege and capture of Edessa. In 1144, Imad ad-Din Zengi, the powerful Atabeg of Mosul and Aleppo, saw an opportunity to strike at the weakened Crusader states. He laid siege to Edessa, which was at the time under the rule of Count Jocelyn II. Jocelyn was away from the city seeking reinforcements, leaving Edessa poorly defended. Zengi's forces breached the city walls after a month-long siege. The city was sacked, and many of its inhabitants were killed or enslaved. The fall of Edessa marked the first major setback for the Crusader states since their establishment nearly half a century earlier. The response in Europe, preaching the Crusade. News of the fall of Edessa reached Europe with a profound impact. The loss of this important Christian outpost was seen as a grave threat to the entire Holy Land. Pope Eugene III responded by issuing the papal bull Quantum Predecessors in 1145, calling for a new crusade to recapture Edessa and defend the remaining Crusader states. The most prominent preacher of the Second Crusade was Bernard of Clairvaux, a highly influential Cistercian monk. His passionate sermons and eloquent rhetoric stirred widespread enthusiasm for the Crusade across Europe. He emphasized the religious duty of Christians to defend the Holy Land and offered plenary indulgences to those who took the cross. The Second Crusade, a disastrous undertaking. The Second Crusade, unlike the first, was a largely unsuccessful endeavor. Two large armies, one led by King Louis VII of France and the other by King Conrad III of Germany, marched separately towards the Holy Land. Both armies suffered significant losses during their journey through Anatolia. Upon reaching the Holy Land, the Crusader armies, along with forces from the Crusader states, decided to attack Damascus, a major Muslim city. The siege of Damascus in 1148 ended in a humiliating defeat for the Crusaders, forcing them to retreat. The significance of Edessa and the Second Crusade. The fall of Edessa and the subsequent Second Crusade had several important consequences. Demonstrated the vulnerability of the Crusader states. The loss of Edessa exposed the precarious position of the Crusader states and their dependence on external support. Fueled religious fervor in Europe. The call for the Second Crusade ignited religious zeal across Europe, demonstrating the continued power of the papacy and the appeal of crusading. Highlighted internal divisions among the Crusaders. The failure of the Second Crusade revealed the lack of coordination and strategic unity among the Crusader leaders. Set the stage for future conflicts. The events of the Second Crusade contributed to the growing tensions between the Christian and Muslim worlds, setting the stage for future conflicts in the Holy Land. The fall of Edessa was more than just a military defeat. It was a symbolic blow that shook the foundations of the Crusader presence in the Levant. It served as a powerful call to arms, triggering the Second Crusade and further shaping the complex history of the medieval Middle East.